Okay, how about that? What's the old saying? Better late than never. We are back. Garden America. In studio, I'm Brian Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox. Hope you had a good week. We're off to a little bit of a late start. Yeah, a little bit.
Start?
A little bumpy start. Yeah, trying to iron out some things in the studio. Let us know how the audio is. I'm coming in pretty hot on the board here, Tiger, but hopefully we sound okay. It is Garden America. Here we go with about, 7, 8, 9, 10, only 5 minutes late. But in radio, that can be a big curse. But fortunately, we're on our own time.
Yeah, that is the beauty of what we're doing is
Garden America time.
We'll be like 8-ish from now on.
Yeah, 8-ish.
From now on out.
What time's this show start? 8 o'clock, give or take.
It is ish.
We hope you had a good weekend. Here we go, kicking off the weekend with a few things going on here in the studio, but hopefully everything sounds good on your end. We are back on the air. John is here with a lot to add this morning as John is sitting there laughing and scratching. Hi, John.
Oh, my gosh. It's good to see you guys.
I'm really hitting hard on these levels, Tiger, on the board. So hopefully we're not over-modulating on your end.
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought. Going to work on those audio levels.
Well, it'd be good if we had time to work on them before the show,
I know, right? Exactly. So doing everything while we're on here. Go ahead and talk.
Who is living in the North County of San Diego right now? Because I got some friends that called me, and they were getting some actual measurable rainfall, which is surprising right now. I mean,
that's unbelievable.
We're not in Arizona where monsoons are...
Right, but it's the time, right? It's that time of year for monsoon season.
So there's places in this world where it's like monsoon season that it starts raining in the summertime and it doesn't stop. Just like Seattle through the winter is just misty for 200 days or whatever.
Well, we were talking earlier about how hot it was. And I see Paula joined us from Fallbrook. When I got up this morning, it was dense fog, but no rain. But the nice thing about the heat that we've been experiencing is that it's been humid.
Yeah.
And we were saying, Brian, that it's better to be hot and humid it's better to be hotter and humid rather than less hot and dry. Does that make sense?
We've said that, haven't we? A time or two.
Yeah.
Well, and the difficulty when it's dry is John, you've seen this with your roses, is sometimes you water in the morning.
Right.
And if it's dry, you can't really water in the middle of the day to get them. You have to wait till the next day. They just have to suffer through that dry, hot air during that time period, where when it's hot and humid, it's hot, but like the plants are still fine. They still are perked up. They might be a little droopy, but...
By the way, Paula's weather report, Tiger, she says thundering and light rain in Fallbrook.
So
that's right now.
Right now.
That's current. Right.
So this is now moved from Encinitas Carlsbad area
inland
to a little bit inland.
Yeah. Now it was dry down here in San Diego. So you said what? It was coming from the north?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. It's moving, and that is the weird thing when we get these weird weather like changes from the standpoint of we're used to getting weather from the south to the north,
right?
But when it's the north to the south, it kind of is. Oh, this is interesting. This is different, right?
I remember when we lived in Michigan. The weather always came from the west heading east, right? So we always knew if rain was coming, we knew when it would get there, and we knew about when it would leave. So you'd have to plan around that.
Now, were there days, though, that it just rains all day?
Rarely.
So it's a fast-moving...
There's storms going through,
It just, hey, it's here.
Right.
10, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, whatever it is, it's gone.
But it could be every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could have rain, 10 days in a row, but, maybe 30 minutes at a time or half hour at a time, and they'd be heavy rains.
Okay. But not all day rain.
Right.
Okay.
Just checking things here. The mic's a bit hot. We're getting feedback from Dana and some of our viewers and listeners as we continue to adjust. John was very hot.
Yeah, Tanya mentioned I was loud and scratchy.
Oh, I thought she was. Okay. I thought the hot thing was something different.
She said
loud and scratchy.
She said scratchy, not scratching, Tiger.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We're still riding the mics here, riding the pots, as they say.
Yeah.
I think
lowered on your end, I think, maybe.
I did.
Okay.
So. The other thing I was thinking, guys, is that you think about growing your plants in different kinds of weather, and it depends what you're used to. Look at our friends up in Redding. Mm-hmm. They expect it to be hot, right? Yeah. And they know how to get through that. Where we are, it gets hot all of a sudden, and you kind of panic. It's like, what do? I got to give my plants more water.
Right.
And the plants have to, they're not, if it's really hot, they're going to be shocked, and they're not going to start growing in heat that's shocking them. So if you're watering plants that would like to slow down a little bit, it's going to be detrimental. Now, it depends on the type of plant, but succulents for sure. I had a lithops. I planted some lithops, and that I think I showed you guys that little pebble garden that I had. I know I showed Brian.
Yeah.
And I figured, well, it's really hot. I need to go water. Well, one of them, lithops are living stones, right?
Yeah. Very small.
Just melted.
Yeah, very small, almost no root system.
Right, and they're used to going through desert temperatures during the summer.
Yeah.
But no water.
Well, and then
so I supply the water, and they said, forget it. We're out of here.
Our friend John Clements had mentioned before, about the idea of boiling the roots, the idea of watering in the middle of the day when it is hot.
Boiling the roots,
and,
right.
And, how it can actually be harmful to the plants where, we were like, oh, like California native, it's hot, like water it no matter what. No, Ceanothus, Caputsis, it's salvias, die the next day. And so, I was out at a property in Carlsbad this week adjusting irrigation systems, and I had the systems turning on at 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. because, it's just better to water it overnight, let it soak in, let it saturate the soil, and then that way during the day you don't have to worry anything about the soil drying out.
Well, I know John does that with his irrigation system. He gets up in the middle of the night.
He gets up. Actually, he wakes himself up.
Well, he knows the system so well he does that before he goes to bed, and he has it go on and off at various times.
Yeah, the way I know my system is I can manually turn it on and off.
Exactly.
Tiger's got to teach me how to work that someday.
I think that would be the first thing I would want to learn because I like that kind of stuff.
Well, I've had it for 2 or 3 years now, so it's about time I learned.
Time to learn.
Exactly.
The learning curve.
Veronica in Spring Valley mentions that she thought the quote was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Quote of the week.
It's probably one of the shortest quotes we've ever had.
Yeah, it is pretty short. And the quote was from Anthony Edinger, who I believe was a Holocaust survivor.
Oh, really? Did not know that.
Yeah, and also a linguist. And anyway, he said that time flies like an arrow, fruit flies like a banana.
That's a great quote. It made Tiger sneeze. Do you know who Corrie ten Boom is?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. Okay, no need not say any more.
Yeah, she had a younger sister. Her last name was Nine Boom.
Wow.
No, but she did have a younger sister. Did you know that there was did we talk about this before? Or maybe one of our listeners pointed out that in near Irvine, I don't think it's Irvine, but up near there, there's a Corrie ten Boom Memorial.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think she's buried there.
I just know her quotes.
Yeah, well, she lived there.
See, I'm learning
if
something
I'm not
new
mistaken,
about her.
One of our listeners would know. But trying to think of the city. What cities are near Irvine?
Orange.
Not Orange.
Culver.
Nope.
Where's this stadium?
Culver City?
Culver?
City of Angels. City of Angels. City of Industry.
Santa Ana?
Downey, West Covina, Pasadena.
Newport. Laguna.
Now we're
just
doing
being
a
silly.
Beach Boys song.
That's right.
Wouldn't it be nice?
All right, we're going to let's take a break right now.
Yeah.
And let's reset and make sure we're on not only on standard time, but on standard audio level and video, so on and so forth. Going to take a break. Welcome those on Biz Talk Radio. This is Garden America. Going to make a few adjustments here as we take our first break, so do stay with us. Welcome to the show. Brian Main, John Bagnasker, Tucker Palafox here on Garden America. Back after these messages. Okay, welcome back to Garden America here as we take care of business. Broadcasting live on the weekend, during the weekend, playback anytime you so desire here. Could be a many sources, streaming, digital, Alexa, Google, Spotify, as I make John's head spin every week. But we are doing our best to stay on the air, stay with you here on Garden America. That's all I got right now.
Well, I'm texting Ed because, for those of you that follow with the show, Ed was supposed to be joining us this morning. And we're having some issues with the phone system here in the studio again.
Yeah, again. See,
So
I'm not here anymore during the week.
Right.
I used to be here 5 days a week. Now I'm working from home when I come in once a week, and I think the studio might be used by people that come in here.
Well, I think just like a garden has gnomes, I think there's radio studio gnomes.
You know what we have in this studio?
What
we
is
have
it?
button pushers.
Button pushers?
Like, what does this button do? If I push this button, what does it do? And then they don't push it back again. And with all these buttons, you have no idea which button they've pushed.
Hold on, but let me finish up what
go
I was
ahead.
laughing at.
Right.
So I text Ed right now, hey, I'm sorry, we're going to have to reschedule you. We're having issues with the phone system. And because this isn't the first time I've had to send that text to Ed,
No.
He goes, oh, no, I think it's me. No, it's definitely not you, Ed.
No, not at all.
It's definitely not you. But, there's all those, when you're growing up in probably 5th, 6th grade, you start to get all those books about, the people that live in the cupboards and the gnomes and all the little fairy tales about things happening in the night.
Right.
And this is exactly, I think, why people got inspired to write those books, is because as an adult, you do show up to things.
Oh, years ago, I could imagine people having problems with their podcast and then running. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Didn't you read that book about the podcast gnomes?
Hey, by the way, Placentia, Brian.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's where Corey Ten Boom
Wow,
died.
okay.
The age of 91.
Wow. It's a good long spell.
Did you
there.
read her book, by the way, The Hiding Place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have a book with a lot of her Christian quotes, many quotes.
Yeah.
I was only introduced to her probably maybe 5-6 years ago. So when I asked you that, you said, "Yeah, I've heard of her."
She's been dead though for 15 years.
Right, Corey Ten Boom.
Yeah, 9 Boom is the
that was
sister.
John's attempt at.
Yeah. Carla says that Ed has the Garden America curse on him.
I know, no, he does not. He's great.
Yeah.
I did want to, since we aren't going to be able to have it on the program, maybe you and I can kind of discuss this, John. Because
Why don't I ask John and you questions, and then you answer them as you think Ed would?
Well, that's what I wanted to do. Is there's this question that I have because it came up this week. I was actually getting donuts for my crew. Every Friday, I stop and get donuts or bagels or something
what a
for
nice
the crew.
boss you are.
I try. And one
Give
of the
some sugar so they'll keep working.
Yeah, exactly. One of the women at the donut shop was asking about if we had some fruit trees at the nursery. She was looking for some jujubes, and I was,
there's been a lot of breeding work done with those.
Yeah, and she was talking about all these neat varieties she wanted.
Like 20 varieties now.
Oh my gosh!
Used to be what, Lang and Lee.
Do you know one? She was trying to describe it to me. It's long. So normally they're kind of like a olive type shape.
Right.
This one she said was long in shape. And I had never heard of it or seen it before. But did you know of one that was longer?
Well, I can't remember the name now, but I did research them at one time because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be up in Orange County or L.A. area. There's a nursery specializing in them.
Oh, yeah? Wow. I believe it, yeah.
But there's some that are extra large.
Sure.
There's some that are, one might be called sugary or sugar or something.
Uh-huh.
Some are a little sweet. And then on Lang and Lee, one is elongated and one is round. Like you're talking about.
And we talked about this last week. Something that was elongated last week.
All right.
No, it was anyway. I want to make sure that I'm tuned into the same conversation.
Way to jump in right there.
Yeah, so far I don't think so.
Way to pick up every 3 or 4 words, right?
Yeah, but she was talking about how pruning, and I was like, oh, well, I was like, we have a person that's going to be on the show next week. We'll talk about some of the pruning things, and one of the basic questions I was going to ask Ed is there a just blatant, like, what will happen if you prune your trees at the wrong time? Like, what is the worst thing that could happen?
They would die. That would be the worst.
I mean, that would probably be the worst.
Well,
but honestly, could your pruning cause that?
No, but your pruning could reduce fruit crop the following year.
Right.
That's
might
a
be
big
the
thing,
worst. Right? That's probably the worst thing. Is if you prune
for
at the wrong
deciduous
time.
trees, I think in general you could say probably if you prune right after the tree the fruit's been harvested, you can't go wrong that way.
So
because
long
the tree
as
is done doing its thing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
as long as the fruit is done.
Right.
Anytime after that, up until it buds again, you can't go wrong.
Right. Once it sets buds, any buds you cut off, you're cutting off fruit, right?
Right.
Potential fruit.
Right. So basically, that's your window that you can't go wrong anytime in there.
Right.
But anytime before that, then
Well, before that, you're just reducing fruit. You could still prune,
but
if you summer prune, you can reduce the size of the tree too. Traditional pruning was winter pruning, right?
right.
But
When it's dormant, January, February,
Right.
that's when you prune. That's the only time you prune.
Right.
That was the rule.
right. But then you got huge trees, and with smaller lots today, it's better to do the summer pruning and keep them in check. I think Tom Spellman and Ed used to say that there's no reason to have a fruit tree taller than 8 feet.
Taller than you can almost reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the things he was going to talk about today was this idea of keeping the fruit trees short. The problem with the industry is they went out and said dwarf and semi-dwarf,
Right.
but it really didn't mean what people thought it meant.
Right.
And so then it created more problems for people because they had
Well,
these large
citrus
trees.
is semi-dwarf. True. The problem with citrus was one of the big citrus growers had a tag that sold true dwarf citrus, but they weren't true dwarf. They were semi-dwarf.
Yeah.
And semi-dwarf is 30% less than a full dwarf or full size.
tree, which for
So
a
if you have a
full-size
30-foot
citrus,
tree and you're 30% less, you still have a 20-foot tree.
Yeah.
That's not a dwarf.
yeah, you're not keeping that in your pot.
Right.
Yeah.
But true dwarf trees do grow on flying dragon rootstock, and there you're looking at like a 6-foot tree.
Yeah, and that's
But-
way more manageable.
Right. But nobody grows on flying dragon because if you're a citrus grower, your job is to sell citrus trees, right?
Not little sticks.
Well, not. Yeah, it's going to take, if you can sell 10 trees in the time it takes to produce one,
Yep.
you're just not going to do it.
Yeah, so that's the trouble is because, and that's what people want. They want fast growing up to 6 feet, and that just doesn't work in nature. It's very difficult.
Tanya had a suggestion.
We
here.
got a break coming
Okay.
up. Go ahead. You want to?
She just said Ed should be answering in chat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break as we continue. Break for Biz Talk Radio. Thank you for joining us, hanging in there. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk about more of what Ed probably would have talked about. Tiger has some of the questions lined up, so we'll stay on course with the theme, if that's okay with you, John. Does that sound good?
Yeah, we do have Ed chiming in.
Beautiful. Thank
online.
you, Ed. All right, there you go. So if not by phone here in the studio, it's Ed on Facebook Live. Back after these messages on Biz Talk Radio. All right, we are back up and running here on Garden America. Brian Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox. I guess Ed is on Facebook answering questions and taking part in that discussion.
Taking over the show.
There you go,
I love
Ed.
it.
Beautiful.
Make sure we read
Makes our
some
job
of the
easier.
things. That,
Yeah, well, one of the things Ed just posted was that apricots and cherries are not pruned in the winter in California because of a dieback and a canker that you can get.
I was going to ask about that, because sometimes they say don't prune in the summer because
Right.
it opens the tree up to bugs or disease because it's like these wounds during the growing time. So he's saying for cherries and apricots that if you do it in the wintertime, the tree is more susceptible to these problems. Huh?
In California.
But but that's because we don't go fully probably dormant, where other places that go fully dormant, they don't have that same issue.
Yeah, and so Veronica's asking when the best time to prune apricots. And my guess would be, like we said, right after fruiting. But
and
Ed's the expert, so he can let people know.
And I will say, for anybody that has an established apricot tree, I'm not talking a 3, 4, 5-year-old apricot tree. I'm saying, 6+ years apricot tree. There's no shortage of apricots on that tree. It's like a lemon, right? So it's almost like never a wrong time to prune also, because, you talked about, John, like one of the problems with pruning the wrong time of year is you get less production.
Right.
Well, with apricots, I mean, you're having 200 apricots versus 150 is not, I don't think it's going to break anybody unless you're an apricot orchard grower person.
Yeah, and I remember, I forget now if it was Tom or Ed, but I remember them, somebody, I think in a talk they were giving somewhere, said, well, if you prune back your trees, you're going to be reducing fruit.
Yeah.
And one of them said, how many Santa Rosa plums
can
you eat in a week?
Yes.
Because they're gigantic crops, and they just rot on the ground, right?
Well, and that one of the issues with some of the stone fruit varieties is that they do come all on at once. So like you're saying,
right.
Like, you got Santa Rosa plum. You have a window of Santa Rosa plums to eat all of them, because unlike on my orange tree, I love it because by the time that it's actually ready to be eaten, and then by the time that it is stopped fruiting and is done, it's a large window. So I can eat oranges over a long period of time because they just stay on the tree.
Yeah.
They're not like falling off and rotting too much and I'm losing them all.
It's a nice thing about avocados too.
They just stay on the tree. Yeah. They might get a little bigger, a little more watery in flavor, but they're not falling off.
Are you okay, John? John,
I had a cramp in your
thumb?
hand. Yeah.
Yeah, your thumb was stuck to the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Just bizarre is what that is. I thought you had that. What was that issue you said you had?
Trigger finger.
Yeah, trigger finger.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, this is trigger thumb.
I don't remember saying that.
Well, is a thumb not a finger? You don't remember? You showed us that before. I think that's the third time you showed us your thumb.
About 3 weeks ago, we talked about having trigger finger.
Yeah. And we talked about its pruner finger.
Ed was saying that commercial cherries and apricots are being pruned right now in California.
Oh.
Commercially.
Okay, so just like you said, when they're done fruiting, because they're probably all been harvested by now.
Yeah. I was going to ask Ed, since I can't go into the chat here, but I wanted to ask, I'm planting blueberries, and Ed at one time, I think, planted every known southern highbush blueberry variety in the world. And he was growing them in containers, but I'm going to put them in the ground, and I planted 2. And the name will Emerald, I think. Is Emerald the large fruited one?
I think so.
I planted 2 of those, but I was going to ask Ed some other ones that he would recommend, because I was going to plant all one type, but then I started thinking about Santa Rosa plums.
And having them all at one time.
Yeah,
yes.
And so with blueberries, I think they're going to be different ripening, but really don't want anything small.
No small fruit.
Yeah.
You only want large berries.
Larger berries, yeah.
Like you have to cut them.
I think there was one called Missy.
In half.
Yeah.
And take pieces of the berry.
Yeah. Put them on a apple peeler.
Exactly.
Which, thanks to Amazon, we now have at our house.
Oh, that's wonderful.
An apple peeler?
I've had an apple peeler for about 10 years. I think I've used it once. Janine loves kitchen gadgets.
Yeah.
That's because I'm thinking, because Dana's always in there cutting up apples. Is it something she would use, or put it in the drawer after using it once and forget about it?
You put it in the drawer and forget it. Because you have to mount it to your counter, and then you got to put it into the apple thing, and then core it and everything.
So if I understand you correctly, and I think I do, it's better just to get a knife out and start cutting it up.
Or eat it.
Quicker.
Eat it.
But basically what you're saying, just get a knife out and cut it up. Otherwise, it's a whole process.
What What would be the point of removing the apple skin on any cooking level? Like, do you just not cook with apple skin in pies and things like that, right? Like, I mean, isn't that why you would remove the skin of an apple
for making a pie, right? Yeah.
So if you're a baker, if you're a pie person, you would want an apple peeler. That makes perfect sense.
Do you know it's been about 20 years since I've eaten an apple just bit into one and eaten it?
Why?
Why?
Because when I eat a lot of apples, but I cut them in half and then scoop out the seeds and the stem and the bottom, and then I got 2 halves and I just eat them. I don't have anything to throw away that way.
But you don't eat the skin?
Yeah, I eat the skin.
Oh, okay.
No, I just cut it in half and scoop out the seeds.
Gotcha. No, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But if
I thought you said you didn't eat the skin.
No. If you bite into it, you've got a core left over, and what do you do with the core?
Throw it.
Yeah.
You can throw it outside because it's biodegradable.
I like to prepare.
Right?
I don't like to have things like that hanging over. Oh, now I'm going to have to think about what I do with the core. Do I throw it out the window? Do I?
Is that where the term "rotten to the core" came from?
See, but now
apples.
But now you've just soiled a knife, right?
Yeah, but I'm doing it at the sink, so then I wash the knife immediately. And
but if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have to wash anything. You would just have a core to throw away. You still have to
then you
got
to wash your hands.
Yeah,
you got apple juice all over your hands. I don't know.
What? You know what? This would be a funny spot where we talk to our listeners, and because everybody does
about their habits,
eat things differently. Like right, like a pomegranate. You got to cut it open. You have the seeds. There's people, and and then there was those pineapples. It's a huge fad for a while on TikTok where there was like peeling. Remember the videos of people peeling the skin off of pineapples? Did you ever see that?
I think I may have.
There's like a pink pineapple, and supposedly it's a little easier to peel. And people were thinking like, oh, you can do this with any pineapple, and it was a one specific pineapple,
right?
But they were like blown away that. They thought this is just how everybody eats a pineapple. You know what I want to know how to properly eat? Because I love them, but I do not like the fruit is mango. Meaning, I love mango, but they're a very difficult fruit because you have to skin it. You don't get to eat the mango skin like you do an apple, right?
Really? You don't?
I don't eat the mango skin. Do you eat the mango skin?
I don't think so.
And then
the one thing about mangoes, though, is that there's fiberless mangoes. Those are the best because
maybe that's what it is.
The ones with fiber, they stick to the pit.
They stick to the pit. Yeah. You can't. I feel like I'm losing some of my fruit that I want onto that pit.
Yeah, you are.
Like an avocado is beautiful, right? You cut it in half. You take your knife. You hit the pit with it. You pull the pit out, and now you got these 2 beautiful halves. I wish mangoes were like that.
Yeah.
Are there mangoes like that?
Yeah, you want to get fiberless.
Fiberless mangoes.
Yeah. And if you want to plant a mango, now's a good time to plant one.
Yeah.
And you can get them from Top Tropicals Nursery in Florida.
Yep.
And
is that Tatiana?
Tatiana,
yeah. Tatiana, you know her last name, right?
Babushka?
Anderson.
Tatiana Anderson.
Smith.
So much for the exotic name, right?
Yeah. She is Russian, though.
Yeah. She just married an Anderson.
Yeah, who was also Russian.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So can you count in Russian, John?
No. Can you?
No. Yet.
Yet.
There's my answer. John, we've got about a minute.
Okay, back real quick to the blueberry we were talking about. Ed mentioned, too, that I was thinking about, and I'm glad he brought them up. Tiger Misty, which I mentioned.
Yeah.
And South Moon. I think South Moon is another large one. And he said those are great for containers. So I don't know where you would get blueberries this time of year. I know Dave Wilson Nursery puts them out in the spring. I don't know if they're available all year from them.
Okay, break time for our friends on Biz Talk Radio. Do stay with us as we continue. One more segment for those on Biz Talk Radio, at least in terms of hour 1, top of the hour news, but Facebook Live. With Ed on board, Facebook Live, we're going to keep on rolling. So a quick break on Facebook Live, a bit longer on BizTalk Radio. Stay with us. It's Garden America with John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox. I'm Brian Main. Back after these wonderful messages. A big thanks to Fertilome, our major sponsor here on Garden America. Back from the break on BizTalk Radio, Facebook Live, right here. Great questions, great comments. Glad Ed is involved. And I guess Tiger, during the break, found out a way to actually utilize your apple peeler more than just making pies.
Making applesauce.
Applesauce.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of our listeners said that they use their apple peelers. So
yeah, good for them. More power to you.
I had breakfast with some guys yesterday, and
the topic of apple
sometimes
peelers
I'm
came
way
up?
too critical. I know you don't believe that, Brian, but
You? Critical?
But I have to admit, I was a little bit, thinking, why did we need an apple peeler? So just kind of jokingly, I brought up, I said, you know what? Now we have an apple peeler at our house.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, all the guys are going to agree, our wives are buying too many gadgets. They're buying things on Amazon all the time. One of the guy goes, oh, I got one of those. And I said, yeah. I said, I never know when something's going to show up on Amazon. He goes, I get a couple packages a day. I buy everything at Amazon.
He loves it.
Yeah, he loves it. And I said, and you got an apple peeler? He goes, yeah, 5-6 years ago. And I said, do you ever use it? Oh, no, I haven't opened the box yet.
No way. Oh, man.
So
that's terrible.
I guess guys can be addicted to Amazon also.
Well, I like it. There's this certain Cliff Bar that used to be available at Barnes.
Yeah, this is a big deal, right?
And all of a sudden, after a year, they don't stock it anymore.
Right.
And no reason given. You go to Amazon. There it is.
There it is.
And in fact, instead of buying one box, I buy a case.
Okay. Let me go to the top. So this was a good point. Joyce wrote, I am going to plant some fruit trees, dug holes extra deep because the soil takes forever to drain. What should I add to help drainage? Ed's answer was, do all raised beds, at least 12 inches high, put native soil in the raised bed, and plant directly into the raised bed. So basically
there's your runoff and there's your yes.
Yeah, so basically I think what he's saying is if you were to go to a lumber store and they sell 12 by 2 board, 12 by 2, so it's 12 inches tall.
2 by 12.
2 by 12s, thank you. Yes. I was 2 by 12s. And I mean, if you were to buy like 2 8-foot boards, you can do a 4-foot box around where you're putting your tree, which I think would be a good size. And all you have to do is connect those 4 to make this square. And then what Ed is saying is fill it up with native soil, or you can amend it, and then plant your trees in there. And then the first 12 inches are going to be obviously very well loose draining soil. Then when you dig past that 12 inches, you'll still probably get a good, even John, where he lived.
But if you're using native soil, you don't have to worry about a difference between the soil layers.
Right, but what I'm getting at is like even the first couple inches of your soil is still decent. It's not until you dig down 3 to 4 inches before you start really hitting some of the
1 to 2 inches.
Yeah. So you're getting a good over a foot. If you're planting a tree, then you get that, and then after that, the roots can kind of work their own way into the soil. So,
but if you have a heavy soil and you dig a deep hole, all you did was make a deep swimming pool.
Yes.
And the water doesn't really, and that's why you'd want to backfill with native soil. Don't want to backfill with a loose soil. But I don't know. I can see Ed's point, and yours also. If you want to amend it just a little by adding a little organic material, that would be good. But the beds that you made for me, I filled with what was supposed to be a 50-50 mix.
Like a topsoil compost 50-50.
Yeah, and it was like one of the biggest mistakes I ever made.
Too much drainage?
It just stays too wet all the time. It just does not drain.
Gotcha.
So the plants are kind of suffering in there. So on the new ones, I'm going to use a different type soil.
And then the other thing too is understand that whenever you're talking about a poor draining soil situation, you need to protect the the base of the plant. That's why we're talking this only that you need this 12 inches because, when people dig a hole and then like what John said, it's in a swimming pool.
Right.
The bottom roots are not the problem as far as rotting out. It's that core root system that rots out the worst and which is going to kill the tree. So if you raise that up 12 inches, like what Ed's described, you should be good to go.
You're talking about the graft area?
Yeah.
Our buddy Hastam, Tiger, says that right now in Pakistan, they have a lot of humidity.
Yeah.
So he said that's the best time to graft mangoes.
Okay.
Yeah. Bless you.
Sneezing again. What's going on over
Something
there?
over here, man.
Ed also mentioned, by the way, back to the apple comments, that he's never peeled an apple because that's where all the nutrients are.
Yeah, exactly. That's where all the nutrients in a lot of fruit is.
Yeah. Now, back in Rachel Carson's era, people peeled apples because that's also where all the pesticides were.
Yes.
Was in the skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The dirty dozen or whatever. It was all the fruit that was sprayed heavily, like strawberries and apples. It was all the fruit that was sprayed heavily, and people ate the skin.
And vegetables too, I think, were in the dirty, like celery.
Would you say the average person now, getting back to like, what time of year do we get blueberries? What time of the year do we get oranges, limes, mangoes? Okay, pretty much now you go to the store, it's year round.
Yeah.
But that's because they're still able to sell with these fruit farms out of season, and they never taste as good.
Well, we have
people
world
don't even
trade.
know really what season it is.
Well, we have world trade, and what's ripening in Argentina is not ripening here, so it gives us that ability to have fruit out of season
year round, which would be out of season here, but in season someplace else where it's exported.
Yeah,
probably not much ripening in Argentina now since it's winter.
Yeah, but
right.
You get the
but
point.
It's interesting. There used to be a time when it's not the time of the season yet. You got to wait 6 months. Now it's like, when do you want it and how much do you want?
Well, and then the other thing that blows me away is John mentioned this last show about roses and how all the roses were grown here in California, and yet they were never released to the East Coast until springtime, Mother's Day. So here it is. They're digging up these fields in what? November,
yeah.
Right? And then they put all these roses
October, maybe
into big
sometimes.
refrigerators for 4 months or more.
Yeah.
And then they go and ship them to baggies. Like that's what they do with fruit too, though.
Yeah.
They harvest the fruit, they throw it into big storage areas, and then they begin to release them. As
it's break time already. Wow.
I feel like did we skip a break?
No, we're
on time.
It just was a little bumpy ride there getting off the runway. Okay, so going to take a break for top of the hour news for Biz Talk Radio, and we'll be back a bit sooner for Facebook Live. Do stay with us. Hopefully, Biz Talk Radio, you can catch hour number 2. This is Garden America on your weekend or whenever you're listening. We are Garden America. We are back for hour 2 if you are tuned in on Biz Talk Radio. Facebook Live, doesn't matter, John. Just keep on rolling. Back even quicker, faster breaks, and better ways to grow your fruit.
I really want to thank Ed for
being a trooper.
He's such a nice guy.
He's a great guy, and he can answer multiple questions with multiple people.
Right.
So thank you, Ed.
Is there any way that
we're going to get him an apple peeler?
He could host the Garden America podcast, and we could be guests.
Yeah, that'd be.
we can log on to Facebook ourselves and answer questions.
Hey, this is something impressive to me. When you think of grafting roses or fruit trees or anything like that, what percentage success rate do you have? I know that when I try grafting roses, say on Fortuniana rootstock, 50% would be huge for me.
For you?
Yeah.
What about for a production company?
Maybe it might be like 70, 80%, but
80.
still.
Yeah, no, there's always a
Yes.
risk, a loss.
But what would you think the percent rate would be on grafting mangoes?
Now, do you know the answer to this?
I do, because Hastam just let me know his success rate.
Well, I mean, in a humid environment.
Yeah, and suppose you're good at it.
Yeah, and good at it.
90%.
Pretty close, yeah. Hastam said that he grafted 500 mangoes in his nursery and had over 95% success.
Good for you.
I say 90% because that was my success rate.
Well, you didn't do 500 either.
I did not.
I did 5.
I did, yeah, exactly.
But that is the beauty of in a humid environment, right? Like when we were in Costa Rica and things just drop on the ground and grow because it's just damp and, they've got good nutrients.
Yeah.
And the
That's
air.
like people in Florida, right? They just stick something in the ground and it roots.
Yeah. Like I really love seeing, the visuals of these farms and they just take sticks to make like their fence, wire fence.
And then
then the stick turns into a tree.
Yeah.
Because it's just a stick they took and then it ends up rooting up. And I'm like, that is amazing. It's just that nice, humid environment.
It depends what you make your fence posts out of.
Yeah.
If it's lodgepole pine, it's probably not going to root. But if it's willow,
yeah,
it'll root right away.
Or in what was it in Costa Rica? What do they have? Teak, right? They have all those teak forests all over.
Yes.
And they have to keep them for years and years and years. And then they go through and harvest them. So
what about cork?
There's a
Portugal.
Have you ever seen a large cork orchard? It's really neat.
Yeah.
Right?
But didn't Bruce and Sharon have a cork tree?
That's why they bought their home.
Right outside the driveway as you drove in, right?
Yeah, their home in Bonita, Bruce wanted to buy the house because it had a cork
tree. And it was established.
It was
it
mature.
was established. Yeah, exactly.
I think they had a branch that came over the driveway, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did they harvest it?
No.
No? That's how you make your money back right there.
Well, they had another
expensive nowadays.
20 years to go before they could harvest. Hey, back to percent take on grafting fruit trees. Ed mentioned that persimmons are really expensive because the take is just above 50% on grafting persimmons.
Even on a production level. Wow.
Yeah.
That's rough.
That is on a production level.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. And back to kind of like what you mentioned regarding the flying dragon rootstock is the other thing that it's just a slow growth. Whenever you have something that has that slow growth and you have so much time invested into it, that's going to make the price of whatever it is just that much more expensive. Because,
well, you probably would never want to have a commercial nursery on flying dragon rootstock. I would think not.
I mean, unless you just had all the time in the world and didn't need money.
You'd save a lot on ladders.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a flying dragon tree?
No.
I'm glad you said tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bush. Or in your case, Brian, a flying dragon.
Just a flying dragon.
Yeah, back
Saw
in your
one
drinking days.
driving on the way down here, right?
The at the university or Michigan State University, where I graduated from, they had a garden.
Tell us about your chemistry class.
Flying dragon chemistry class.
There was a garden out there that had a citrus growing in it. And Michigan State's in East Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With temperatures 15 to 20 below zero in the winter.
Yeah, not a fun spot.
And a citrus grew there, and it was a flying dragon rootstock.
It was a flying dragon citrus, or just the rootstock? And
no,
it was a navel orange.
Anything that was on the citrus would have died immediately.
Uh-huh.
But the rootstock that's how hardy it was.
What does a flying dragon citrus? What is it? A lemon, an orange? Is it?
It might be like a wild orange.
Orange?
That kind of look, but it has a zigzag, very thorny growth habit.
Yeah.
So it looks cool, but I guess that's another problem when it comes to grafting, and Ed would know that because of the thorns, it might be harder to graft than other citrus. I'm not sure. I've never grafted citrus, so I don't know.
But you think it's some kind of wild orange. And
Ed says they use it as a hedge plant sometimes.
In jails.
Well, they don't use it
prisons.
Don't use it in. That was the only citrus I've ever seen in Michigan.
If you ever see a house surrounded by flying dragon shrubs, stay away. There's stuff happening there that you don't want to be a part of. They want to keep people out. Because oranges and lemons and those, when you see the real oranges, the real lemons, not the Washington Navel and the Eureka lemon, they're.
Oh, you mean the species?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're intense bushes. And
they're wild.
They are. They really are.
Yeah.
It's really intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, aren't finger limes closer to original species than some other citrus?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might even be a different genus.
But you see it when it grows, right?
Yeah.
Like you see that. That's a
Yeah,
great
but that's
example.
another thing with real thorny stems.
Yeah.
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 I have a really nice finger lime right now. I think I got it from Dave Wilson Nursery.
Is there? Am I right?
No,
Is there
it
a black
wasn't
one?
Dave Wilson Nursery, because I don't know if they do citrus, but it was a Four Winds.
Oh yeah, Four Seasons.
I thought it was Four
No,
Winds.
Four Winds. Four Winds.
Four
It is
Winds
Four Winds.
Nursery.
I'm trying. I see the label.
Yeah.
In my head. Yeah.
And I
Four
don't even
Seasons
know
is
if
where
you
you
can.
stay.
Can you order citrus online now?
I don't know. There's so many
there were
rules.
so many restrictions on citrus. Oh, you live on the other side of the street. We can't deliver.
Yeah,
like that Seinfeld with
The pizza.
with the
Chinese
food.
food. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Oh, we can't deliver.
yeah, you're across the street.
So she gave a phony
address. I went
address
to
and
pick
answered
it
the
up.
door.
Yeah, she got blacklisted.
But
They named
but
names.
finger limes, like is there a black one and a green one, or is it pink? I can't remember. There's a couple different varieties, and
Well, the big thing and I think most of the work is done in Australia where they're native.
Mhm.
I think they're native. Who knows? They could be from Asia somewhere. But anyway, in Australia, they were doing a lot of breeding, and they were looking for different colors on the finger limes. So they had, red and yellow and green, and finger limes just really intrigue me.
Mm-hmm.
They're great for using in cooking.
They're like sour tapioca balls.
Yes. Yeah. Like good tasting caviar.
Yeah.
Have you had caviar?
Yes, I've had caviar.
Do you like it?
No. Even good caviar.
Did you put it on a cracker and all that?
Yeah.
Or just
Even good caviar. I'm not knocking people that like caviar
Yeah.
by all means.
What
Some
about
people
you?
like beef tartare.
If it was $1.50 a pound, I would not eat it.
My daughter loves beef tartare. You know what that? Like it's beef pudding, like basically. Like it's a spread, right? Yeah.
Does she like Vegemite?
Maybe. She's got an interesting palate.
We have to
But-
take a break. I
Yeah.
want to hear more about her palate. After the break, for Biz Talk Radio, it's Garden America, YouTube, yes indeed, Facebook Live, and of course Biz Talk Radio, back after these messages. Okay, we're on a roll here. Big thank you to Ed Laivo, who has been a big part of our Facebook Live broadcast today, John.
Yeah, we really appreciate Ed being there and all our listeners
Of
for
course.
putting up with us. I think we finally got the audio levels correct.
Oh, next week
right?
it'll be different.
Yeah.
Of course. Just when you have think you've got it licked.
Well-
Anything else on your daughter's palate?
So, you guys have had children, and have you ever seen something in your child and you're like, that's a gift, and you didn't want to bring it out too much because at the right time
Make a big deal out of
it's
it.
going to be, I think, important. I really think Tasia's skill, she'll either become a
Veterinarian?
sommelier, like one of those people that can pick out wines, the
Okay.
flavor,
Okay.
the scents, the odors, and all of the stuff, the taste.
The different notes?
Or some
forget the
kind
notes.
of not like a food critic because she's too nice of a person to be a critic of anything, but a food person that can pick out like flavors and stuff.
Taster.
Her ability to if we're eating a meal and I want to know what's in it, she can take a bite of it and tell me what's in it.
So she can break down individually all the ingredients in there.
Yes. And
people do that with scents, aromas, right?
Yeah.
Like they work in perfume industries and things like
I think
that.
that's would be a gift she has.
Yeah, and then people also do that in food industry.
Yeah. Like I think that would be an amazing. Like again, she never was going to want to be critical of anybody, so she's never going to say this is bad, but she will tell you what's in it, what's good and what's bad about it, and also she has specific tastes she enjoys that are not normal to a 14-year-old person. You know, like she really likes the finer things in life already.
My granddaughter would be the anti-Tasha.
like she's like chicken nuggets and PB&J.
Well, no. Actually, maybe she can taste as well, but she doesn't like anything that she tastes.
Oh, really?
She won't eat strawberries.
Really?
Everything with her is texture related.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Texture.
Yeah.
That is a big deal. And strawberries are a tough one because they have the seeds on the outside and they got the little hairs.
She doesn't like raspberries.
Yeah, they're all the same there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
The Ed, and I didn't know this. You probably did, Tiger, but Ed says that finger limes are the perfect container citrus, and they're one of the only citrus that will grow in the shade.
Oh.
So that would be great for your patio, Brian.
Finger limes. Well,
Yeah.
I get this time of the year, summertime, probably 6 hours of
Yeah,
sun.
well, they'll grow.
do you
in
have a citrus?
Mine's in full sun. Yeah,
No, I had the last citrus I had was the lime tree.
Right.
Right.
You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it did good.
I
So
thought Tiger got you a tangerine. That
A mandarin.
gold nugget.
A mandarin.
Man, you're right.
Gold
Mandarin.
nugget. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Right.
And do you still have that?
No.
No? It did I make it or
It
what?
didn't. I had it 3 years, and then the third year, it didn't do well.
You should try finger lime.
Just didn't. It didn't. I
There
did
you go.
everything I could to save it.
I remember you talking to it to see if it would help, and then you finally said, "You don't really want to be here, do you?"
You know what's funny about that? What a coincidence! So earlier, before we went on started the program, Dana sent me a video that we took, I don't know, a year or so ago, because our cat who passed away this April was in it, and he was outside on the patio on the wall. We let him kind of, toward the end of his
Was
life.
that the cat that almost killed you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Toward the end of his life, it's like, you know what, do whatever you want. You want to climb on the wall, whatever. And in that picture is a brief little shot of that tree, of the citrus tree.
Gotcha.
And I went, oh, yeah, that's right.
Used to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still have the veggie pod? Did you get rid of that?
No, I got rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good for a couple, 2 or 3 years, then
You lose interest.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
It's like really good. I grew cilantro, lettuce, and then
Yeah.
it's like, what's next?
Yeah.
It served its purpose.
If I had more time, John's got his new veggie garden, and compared to your roses, how much time does it take compared to your rose
You
garden?
just
right?
reminded John of something.
I think something got eaten in it.
No, I had cucumbers.
Oh, they're already too big now. You waited 15 minutes.
No, I had cucumbers and zucchini picked for Brian, and I forgot this morning. I left it home.
Really?
You know what I have for you? I have an egg carton, though. An empty one
Do you?
in my car.
You know what I have in my hen house? Maybe 4 dozen eggs. And
Really?
they've got mites.
Oh, no.
What?
Yeah, and I don't want to. You go in there and they get all over you, and so I'm not sure what to do. I tried.
Diatomaceous earth, no?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
diatomaceous earth.
Just sprinkle it around.
All over. Sprinkle it on the hens, too.
Because that's what they do at the nursery, right?
Well, it's a crawling insect whole
Right.
thing.
All right, I'll try it.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, have you tasted his eggs, John's chicken eggs?
No.
I just prefaced
It's been
myself.
2 weeks. I haven't gotten the eggs.
They're the best eggs. Speaking of taste and a delicate palate,
Yeah.
or a sensitive palate, you taste one of his eggs, you're like, I'm never going back.
It's because he feeds them rose hips and fresh bugs, and
I do feed them a lot of bugs.
they have all the
Fresh
rose
bugs.
petals. The eggs come out scented.
I
you
fed
know,
them
with the
pinkies
perfume.
one time.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Pinkies?
Wow,
Like
pinkies.
people's pinkies?
No, they're mice. They're
Little
baby
mice.
Oh.
I was there was a nest in with the roses, and there was like a dozen of them in there.
Wow.
I picked them up, and I didn't know. Do I kill these? What do I do? I don't want mice all over, right?
Yeah.
So I just threw them in with the chickens. And it was a feeding frenzy.
People, if you want to see something crazy, if you want to relive, imagine dinosaurs, right? T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Those are chickens. Like they are, if you give them a grasshopper or like a big worm, they just will be tearing at it and they go all crazy. And
they love sow bugs and earwigs.
Yeah.
Too.
Speaking of what chickens like to eat, there's a guy on YouTube, and he's got a bee hornet removal service. Mm-hmm. And he goes into the most awful places with these bee suits on, and he's just in there, and they're mad, and they're attacking him. He takes all the larvae home.
And he gives
and
them
he
to
spreads
chickens?
it around for his chickens, and he's got some critters, on his little farm. But these chickens go nuts over the larvae of these bees, hornets, whatever.
I bet you
all
that's
that
really
protein.
good for them too.
It's good
the
protein.
chickens,
and they
because
love it.
Otherwise, they're just eating little specks of dirt and grain, that you give them. So when you give them like a good bug or like you're saying like a larva, they probably are really good.
You see
for
many
the
June
chickens.
bugs this year?
No, it's August now.
We've got August bugs then, because they're just, and you're
Really?
right, they fly around like they're drunk.
It's almost September.
That's when you said you'd see me, huh?
See you in September, yeah.
Gone till November.
Hey, John in Newport Beach, Tiger, pointed out that the name for those people, like Tasyars, is Super Taster.
Super Taster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to be her career.
No, I thought she was going to be a vet.
Well, I mean, no, like I was saying, I see this in her.
Right, but she may not think
she may not think of it as a big deal, but it is a big deal.
We got to take a break.
Yeah.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
We have two more segments. Next one's one of our longer segments here on Garden America. Do stay with us, taking a break for Biz Talk Radio. And as we said for many, many years in this business, back after these messages. All right, we are back from that break. Thank you to Fertilome, who keeps us on the air each and every year here at Garden America. Thank you to Ed Laivo, who's been a big part of the show this morning. In fact, maybe it worked out a little better that he was on Facebook Live this morning, so a chance to interact with Ed. And John's still monitoring some of the questions and comments, and I see a grin coming upon John's face.
There's a lot of interesting comments, but we've got a question from our buddy in Coeur d'Alene.
That would be my buddy who I've known since junior high, Kevin.
Yeah. He said, what do I think about rugosa roses? And they just got back from Glacier National Park, and their campground used them for campsite privacy barriers, very shrubby. I love rugosa roses. They're hardy. They'll grow almost anywhere. I think they're native to Japan, and they grow right up to the seashore. So they handle almost any type of climate. The one negative thing is if you have a small area, you don't want an own root rugosa because they sucker.
Oh.
And they come up everywhere.
And you can't get rid of them.
Well,
it's challenging.
Yeah, right.
Well, the back area in my house where Tiger was putting in some of those beds had two rugosa roses on the hillside.
Just growing wild?
No, that I planted.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but that's also where I planted some avocados. So I went into the area, and I planted the rugosa rose maybe 20 feet from there. But there was a stem coming up 20 feet away, and I went to dig it up, and I pulled it, and it went all the way back to the original plant. So you got 20 feet
of runners.
Wow.
Just going. And it will split off from that, too.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
But they're great for holding a hillside. But, you're not going to walk through it because they're, you think of the thorniest rose and the rugosa roses have 10 times the amount of thorns.
And it's not even.
What a great barrier, yeah.
So when things are thorny, also, it's one thing when they have like large, substantial thorns because, it's not fun to work with, but it's a little easier.
Right.
They're very small.
Right.
Like they're like the hypodermic needle thorns.
Small but many.
You can't even grab a branch. Like when we were talking about like the finger limes. Like you could see the thorns, so you can almost see where to put your hand to hold it and cut a stem.
Or on a bougainvillea.
Yes,
something like that,
you can be like, oh, there's no thorns here. I'm going to grab it here.
Right.
With the rugosa rose, there's no place to put your hand.
Small but many.
Yeah.
We are small, but we are many. Legion.
You just have to have like a long pulled hedge trimmer and just make cuts.
But you can graft a rugosa rose onto rootstock like, multiflora or Dr. Huey.
And reduce the thorns?
No, you can't do anything to the thorns, but it won't sucker.
Oh, okay.
So you have a nice little bush.
Yeah.
They're really pretty. There was a rugosa rose in the newsletter this week. Bill in San Diego planted one called Heart Crane. And Heart Crane was a...
H-A-R-T or H-E-A-R-T?
No, H-A-R-T. He was a poet in the Ohio area, I believe.
It has a little different leaf, too, than normal
Yeah, as
roses.
a matter of fact, you know what, when a rose has that type of leaf, you know what, it doesn't have to only be on rugosa roses, but you know how that's described, that leaf? It's described as being rugose.
Oh. Rugose. It's a
rugose. So
leaf.
That's actually where I think the name rugosa came from, was that rugose means that type of crinkly leaf.
Crinkly, dull kind of finish.
Not
always
always
shiny.
Dull. They can be shiny.
Can they be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I always thought that like shinier leaf, too, was not... I always thought it was more of a lime green, crinkly, dull leaf is what I've always envisioned rugosa roses.
Maybe the species, but there's
other varieties.
Lots and lots of hybrids, right?
Got it.
I told John, he gave me inspiration to cut back my roses.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, back to sticks. Nothing. I think it's the first time I've ever cut back that far.
Really?
Yep, and I've got 20, and I did it to all of them.
You mean other than spring, right?
I've never cut them back this much. I've always been very careful cutting the tops and just kind of.
Oh, they get too tall that way.
So does your patio look a little barren
now? A little bit, but most of the roses are along the sidewalk leading up to the front door out there.
And so does that look a little barren?
Where the homeowners association can see them.
They don't care. I've made the property look better. Yeah, it does look bare. It really does, and you just have to do it.
Yeah,
I can see why people would go, ooh. Is it ever going to look the same again?
Right,
It just looks real.
You get so accustomed to the look.
Yeah, but I did it. I mean, looking at that rose a couple of weeks ago at John's house. I know it sounds silly, but I did it. I'm going to send him a video.
But it looks so much better. And that's
it does.
And that's what I try to tell people with their landscape,
it does.
because sometimes they really hold us back from a landscaper's perspective and say, oh, please don't prune back so hard, or please don't do this.
In my mind, if it's bigger and bushier and looks mature, that's like, well, I don't want to stunt its growth or cut it back. But you're right. It's like a good haircut.
Yeah.
Just cut it back.
Fresh.
Because I think you will reap the rewards afterwards.
Yeah, I do. I especially grasses. Cutting back a nice, seasonal grass like a miscanthus or pennisetum, they look so much better than when people do the half prune, where they leave grass in there and then it's just dead grass in beautiful new grass.
I really do not like that look. Yeah. Do you remember that I had, I think, 3 or 4 clumps along my driveway? Mm-hmm. And I finally pulled them out because I just couldn't deal with that. But this year, somebody sent me some trial plants, and they were supposed to be dwarf forms of that Pennisetum rubrum. Mm-hmm. And so I just planted them last week. I finally got around to planting them, and I'm going to see what they do and see if they actually stay small. But they're green right now, and I had forgotten all about them, so I looked up, and the variety name is kind of cool. It's called Water to Wine.
Oh, so it goes
so I'm thinking
a green
maybe
to a red?
That's what I'm thinking.
Uh-huh.
I mean, doesn't that make sense?
It'd be really cool if it went green in the middle to like a red tip, That'd be really neat.
It might do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Know.
That'd be really neat. I would like that.
Yeah. Tiger, Carla's trying to save a bromeliad from rotting, and she took it out of saturated soil and put it in a seed starting mix. She wants to know if that's good. Tanya gave her a good answer, and I agree with Tanya, but would you put it in a soil, or would you just maybe stick in plain perlite?
Yeah, plain perlite
until it roots
or a bark
again.
or something like that.
Yeah, if it roots, then you can add something else to it.
Yeah, I almost feel like seed starting mix is probably one of the worst things.
Yeah, the only thing is it's sterile,
but
so
it
you
just
don't have to
usually
worry about
heavy
the rot, but
peat
and it's going to hold the
hold
water,
moisture.
Yeah, I would go plain perlite,
Yeah.
and I would put a stick in it to hold it because it's not going to hold up itself in perlite.
And not only that, like, you know, the people have to remember when they begin to grow roots, if they break during that growth process, you start over again, and it's even worse. So a stick or some kind of way to hold it up is very important because you need to keep it stable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would go with, like you were saying, like a perlite or something better draining.
And a lot of bromeliads are epiphytes, and some are terrestrial, but even the terrestrial ones are somewhat epiphytic. I mean, they need really fast draining soil.
Yeah.
They're not going to grow in clay.
I mean, it was just shocking, the ones that we saw in the trees as we're driving through Costa Rica, and just these massive bromeliads in the nook of a tree up there, and just growing out there,
no effort,
no soil, no anything, and they're just growing.
If you go to Hawaii, you'll see lots of them growing in the ground, but you got volcanic soils
that doesn't hold water at all.
And even if it rains every day, it's fine. It's not going to hurt them.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm trying to think, because I went up to Kent's bromeliads before, and I remember doing like a tour, and they do use some products to help fertilize and get them to grow. And I'm trying to think of what was the thing that they sprayed on them to kind of get them to root quicker.
Well, we can take a break while you think about it.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Perfect.
It's all about timing. Okay, so that means one more segment, and that's going to do it. So stay with us as we continue. Garden America, thanks to Ed Laivo this morning. Thanks to you tuned in on Biz Talk Radio, Facebook Live. John Begnasco, Tiger Palafox, I'm Brian Mean, and we will take a break, our final break. Next segment, our last segment of this weekend here on Garden America. Okay, gentlemen, we are back. This is one of the shorter segments the epilogue. We wrap things up.
We were early in the show. I don't know if Ed was on at the time. And again, Ed, we really, really thank you for joining us on Facebook today. But we were talking about the new breeding with jujubes. And I was wondering if you had any experience with some of the varieties. A common name for them is also Chinese dates, I believe, Brian, because you can eat them wet or moist, and you can also eat them after they've dried. So, but anyway, I have researched them just a little, but I wonder if Ed has any experience, and if he knows. I think it was Orange County somewhere where they had a lot of different varieties, but maybe he knows some sources for those.
The bromeliad, to encourage the root growth, it's a low nitrogen but focus on like phosphorus and potash, like liquid fertilizer. What was the product? Super Bloom. Remember the Super Bloom?
Oh, yeah.
It was like all phosphorus.
Well, it was like 55% or something like that, right?
Yeah, so something like that, but you dilute it. So, whatever they say on the package is the normal, you do about half, and then you just water the bromeliad with that. And that's going to encourage the root growth on the bromeliad, which would be good to do if you're trying to get it to prevent rock too, because it's going to focus the energy on that. No nitrogen, though, because I don't think they require almost like any nitrogen. Bromeliads, they get it all from
the air.
The air,
right?
Yeah,
from rainfall.
Exactly.
What is it that you say that most of our soils have that you wouldn't add more to it?
Phosphorus.
Phosphorus, eh?
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason is that the soil ion is negative. And and if I'm wrong in all of this, it's just
No, I'm following you so far.
I know,
Negative,
but
positive.
just think of the theory behind it. It doesn't have to be correct facts. But I believe the soil ion is negative and the phosphorus